This next topic is on the topic of delegation. And of course, this one is very, very tricky, especially if you have been somebody who has worked in tech for a while. You've gotten your hands dirty. You've been used to getting your hands dirty. You were on the tools. You were supporting staff. You were working on the servers. You were working on the network. You were configuring switches and routers, and you were building PCs or whatever it is that you were doing. Well, now, with the management responsibility hat on, well, now you're responsible for the management tasks. And of course, there's a whole bunch of stuff around management that we've covered and that we're covering. Your big strategy now, you're doing roadmap stuff. You're doing things that are a little bit more big picture. So now you need to learn how to delegate these responsibilities to your techs. Delegate responsibilities to the IT team members that you are working with. Now, whether you're working with a large team, a small team, you now need to be giving them tasks to do, and you need to be taking your hands off. And that's not to say that you take your hands off completely, because I also think it is important to stay technical, right? We've already covered an element of this. I think it's good to stay technical and stay up to date with what's going on in tech, because it's going to help you to be a better tech leader. But now you're not going to be doing the things as much as you used to be hands-on, right? You're going to be giving this stuff to somebody else. So for example, you may be in the olden days had to go and build servers. Well, now you don't do that. You now ask somebody to go and build a server, or somebody's giving you a directive. We need our network to be a little bit more secure. Well, you can maybe provide some guidance to the techs that you're working with, but then ultimately it's maybe up to some network engineers to go and architect the whole thing, design the whole thing, configure all of the firewalls, the routers, the VLANs, all of that sort of stuff. And you just oversee it and you just make sure that the job is done. So you be less hands-on and learn how to delegate. And delegating doesn't mean that you just take your hands off completely. It doesn't mean that you just give all of your tasks to your techs and you don't do anything. That's not good delegating. If you are not delegating sufficiently, then you're not going to be able to focus on the big picture stuff that's important. You are now responsible for the managerial. You're responsible for a lot more big picture stuff. And if you're busy, still hands-on, then things are not going to get progressed. The big picture stuff is not going to get done. So you need to learn to take your hands off, give tasks to your techs, and then of course making sure that your techs are actually doing the work. But also knowing that your techs can come to you for help, for advice, for clarification. It's very important to learn about delegation and to delegate where you can.